One of my favorite techniques to go through with people that are feeling stuck or uninspired or that their life's not going the way they want it to go is what I call the blank page process. And it's a process that I love and I use it probably once a year for myself, but I can sometimes use it up to three times a year. And I do this process whenever I'm feeling that things aren't going in a way that excite me, when I'm feeling a little bit stagnant or I'm just feeling a little bit lost or uninspired with life. And it's a really fun, light-hearted, but quite deep process that you can do for yourself very quickly and easily that will hopefully help you fall in love with life again. So the way this starts is you want to get a blank piece of paper, and I think the bigger the better. I get a really big bit of paper so I can make a mess and scribble on it, but an A4 piece of paper will do. And what you want to do is you want to break down your life into various categories. Okay, now when you do this process, this is very much a process of getting in touch with your authentic desires. It's about being present and it's about being heart led, which basically just means it's about getting in touch with what you really, really want. So on this blank piece of paper, you want to break your life down into various sections. This might be work, family, hobbies, health and fitness, religion, spirituality, anything you want. I tend to break my life down into work and have finance separately. I have a section for my kids, a section for my intimate relationship with my wife, and a section for my friends. But you can just have a section called relationships if you like. Start with the section that means the most to you or that is occupying most of your time and attention right now. And the key thing you want to do is you want to ask yourself, what would I love this area of my life to look like right now? So it doesn't have to be, what do I want this area of my life to look like for the next 6 years? And it doesn't have to be, what do I want this area of my life to look like for the next 2 years? It's, what would you love this area of your life to look like right now? And wait and see what comes up for you. What this isn't is it isn't a process of comparing your life to how it was before, because that would be about kind of trying to change something. And I'm not necessarily for this process interested in change. What I'm interested in is if you could get in touch with your heart and ask yourself, what do I just want in my life right now? This will help you get in touch with that. So for me, if I was going to look at work, what do I want my work to look like right now? I'm not necessarily going to think about what have I done previously or what am I even doing right now. It literally is a blank page. So what do you want work to look like right now for you? What do you want family to look like right now for you? What do you want finances or health or fitness to look like for you right now? Try not to use the words more, better, and different. Because if you're using the words more, better, and different, you're either comparing yourself to someone else or you're comparing yourself to a past version of yourself. And whilst that's okay, it tends to leave us in a state of insecurity and lack and anxiety. And then it kind of closes down things because you start thinking about, well, is that possible? Or can I even have that? Is that allowed? Is that okay? Can I achieve that? And at the moment, we're not interested in the how, we're just interested in what you want. So if it was me, I'd be having a blank piece of paper and I'd start with the area that's occupying my attention most. And I start to write down, what is it that I want this area of my life to look like? And it can be quite fun and exciting to get in touch with that because you don't know what's going to come up. One of the things I love to do is do this with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and really allow some time and space. But sometimes something won't come. And if it doesn't come, I like to ponder on it for a while. I might go for a walk and just hold it in mind. What do I want this area of my life to look like right now? And wait for it to come to me. It's not a forced process. It's a deep but reflective process. And it's really important to let this feel true and authentic for you and not kind of forced and made up. One of the things I'll share with you, because this is potentially going to come up for you, is I remember the very first time I did this. And I remember sitting down and it came to family. And I asked myself, what do I want right now? And I noticed that I felt scared. And I was like, why do I feel scared right now? And I was scared to get in touch with my heart because my mind was saying, well, what if I don't want to be with my wife anymore? What if I don't want to be a father anymore? And I was scared that I might discover that my authentic self didn't want these things that are in my life, because it would be quite tricky to sort of to sell the house and move out and say to the kids, I don't want to be your dad anymore. And I realized how ridiculous that sounded once I got in touch with my heart, because I very much still wanted to be a father, and I very much still loved my wife and wanted to still be with my wife. And my head was just saying, but you can't get in touch with what you want because maybe you don't want these things. And I saw it for what it was. It was a ridiculous thought. And this isn't a thinking process. This is a heart-led process. And it's not something fluffy or woo-woo. It's just getting in touch with your authentic desires. What do you want? And that's it. Once you start to break your life down into these areas and you get in touch with what you want, that can be a really fulfilling process, because then you know which direction to head in with these various areas in your life. And because it's an authentic desire, you'll likely find that you've got the energy and the passion and the inspiration to pursue those things, because it's literally coming from you. It's something that's true to you. So it's natural that there's going to be an energy there to pursue it. And if you find that you are getting stuck and you can't pursue those things, chances are that there's some beliefs getting in the way of that. And we tend to call those limiting beliefs. Well, I want this, but I can't because fill in the blank. And that's where coaching can be really helpful. I'll record another video on limiting beliefs at some point very soon. But feel free to try this technique out for yourself. And any questions you've got, pop it in the comments below, and I'll be sure to respond and help you out. Much love.